The toys have arrived. I finally got my custom dynamics lighting. Been wanting to upgrade the lighting on my Sportster for a while, and that's going to be what I'm going to do this weekend. So here's the toys from Custom Dynamics. There's a module which will plug into the wiring harness on the bike under the seat. And then the turn signals on the front and back are going to be replaced. The bulbs are going to be replaced by these things which they call dynamic rings. And I will explain how they work. But before that, this module that goes under the seat is something I was concerned about. It's kind of big. And I already have under my seat a relay for the horn, which is about half the size of this, plus my Fuel Moto tuner. It's starting to get a little tight under there. And I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to fit it. So what I did was I made out of cardboard a little box the same size. And I took my seat off and I found, fiddled around until I found a spot where I can put this. I wouldn't want to put it where I'm putting it if I had the stock seat because it's pretty flimsy and the pan on the seat moves a lot. I think if somebody heavy sat on it or if I was riding, a long ride, it would probably get squished. On the other hand, the Mustang seat has a fiberglass pan underneath, very rigid, and does not move. So that little control module looks like it's going to be nice and safe. So that's good. I have a place for it. Now, what is the point of the lighting upgrade? All right, so let me show you. I pop on the bike in the run position. So when I am riding this bike, I have a single tail light on the back of the bike. That's it. One morning I was going through some heavy fog, cars behind me, all they're seeing is this one lonely little light. Turn signals, if they're not turning, don't do anything. Same thing with the front of the bike pretty much. I mean, you have the headlight and, the turn signal lights. I don't believe they stay on when the bike is running, but even if they do, they're not super bright. And when they're turning, great, they're turning. Otherwise, there's just not a whole lot of light up here. And one of the concerns I have is, what if the headlight bulb blows? It's just one bulb again, and I don't want to be stranded if I'm at night. So just little concerns. I want to be more visible if I have night or fog. Sitting at a stoplight is another thing. I've seen bikes that have pretty extensive lighting setups on the back. Unfortunately, that doesn't stop people that are looking down at their phones from slamming in the back of you. But that's the configuration that I have on the bike right now. I've been wanting to add some more lighting, so that's what the purpose of the Custom Dynamics is, and I'm going to get started. It's not going to be a how-to video. I'm just going to kind of plod through it and maybe take a few videos along the way, but when I'm done, I'll show you how it all looks. Alright, so I have my seat off. I pulled my Fuel Moto out of the way. This is my relay for the horn. And ultimately, the module is going to go right in here. But at first, I have to get to the wiring harness connector for the rear light. And I believe that it is right under this piece of metal, down under yonder. So I got to retrieve that right now. Alright, that wasn't too bad. There it is right there. So just like that, I have the connectors installed for, I keep calling it a module, it's actually called a stabilizer. So now the fun's going to begin. I have to get everything all tucked in, nice and secure, and zip tied, and put the seat back on so nothing gets squished before I can proceed. Well, it only took me, about 5 minutes. There you go. The Fuel Moto's in nice and secure. Doesn't really help. I verified that there's two big rubber things on the side of the seat that sit there, so that's not getting squished. The horn module's down out of the way. The Custom Dynamics module is in there nice and tight. There's about a 1/4 inch or more before you hit the seat pan, and then it rests on this thing as a support. And that's pretty much it. This is my little dongle for my Fuel Moto. Kind of hides under my seat so I can connect to it. So there we go. This was what I thought would be the hardest part of this project. So I'm happy so far. Let's move on to the lights. Are we having fun yet? Guys, the module was the easiest thing to install. Literally, like 5 minutes. The front lights, piece of cake. pull out the bulbs, put the new ones in, boom. The rear, it's embarrassing. I had to drill a hole through the reflector of the rear turn signal. As you can see, I had to remove 3 bolts to loosen this bracket to get the rear turn signal loose. The instructions from Custom Dynamics simply say, you may need to drill a hole. Thank you for that useless piece of information. Okay, so I drilled the hole and I routed the wire here so far. It needs to come back here and get tied in. That should be easy. These wires obviously need protection. They're going to be in the fender. I happen to have some wire loom. It's not waterproof, but it's, you know, it's better than nothing. So it's getting late. I'll probably do this one side tonight and call it a night and finish this tomorrow. Hey, I'm back. What a difference a day or a night makes. Yeah, I called it a night last night, thoroughly frustrated. Wasn't sure how I was going to get this thing to work. What I've done since then, first of all, is both sides are now installed. You can see I did another hole here. I took this side apart again and redid it better. Now that I've done it a couple times, I know exactly what I'm doing. The wire comes all the way up here with wire loom. But the biggest problem that I'm running into is there's just so little room in this area here. When you put the light cover on, there's just a little bit of room right in here. You have the bulb taking this whole center and very little room here. These posi-tap connectors are actually quite large. And what I figured out is probably going to be the only way to get this to work is for them to face inward towards the tire instead of out this way, because there's just no room out here. The downside of that is underneath here, you know, is the road and grime and gook and all that. And it's going to get some of that. There's really not a whole lot I can do about that. I'm going to tape it up as best I can. I even got, like this is an aftermarket light, it's slanted. I even got the factory light out, which I still happen to have. And it sits on like that. And you can see there's just so little room in here for that. And those posi-tap connectors, you can't put both of them on right next to each other up here because there's just, everything's so tight. I actually took the module out, or at least unclipped it and dug through here and found the wire that goes back to see if I could pull on it and give myself a little more leeway. You just can't. I even thought about connecting the wires up here at this end of the harness. It would just be a nightmare. So this is really the only way to do it. I don't ride in the rain typically, so I don't think it's going to get wet a lot, but I'm going to do my best to seal it up and you know, just keep an eye on it. But it is kind of amazing the way these bikes are built. When you get under there and look under the fender and see how all the wires are suspended and everything, there's very little clearance between the wires and the tire in some spots. And actually found some things where it wasn't like put together at the factory correctly on the one side like it was on the other. So that's all done. I'm very happy with that. This I just need to trim back, get connected, and hopefully call this a day because I have other things to do, like painting our kitchen. Fun. Well, it's done. Finally. Man, this was a bugger. Just, you know, it's like that sometimes. Sometimes you think something's going to be easy. It's not. You think it's going to be really hard. It's easy. You never know. So here's what we got. Keys in the on position. My front turn signals used to just be orange, solid orange. Now I have these really bright white LED lights, which is really great. So constantly 3 lights up front. Definitely, you know, better visibility. That's what I was looking for. In the back, the brake light used to be the only light on back here. Now I have a set of running lights. Red, you know, if I'm out in the fog or whatever, nighttime, it's nice to have a couple extra lights. So those are running lights. Then we have the turns, and this is really cool. So up front, I'm going to make her turn. Boom. The white goes out on the one side. It's blinking orange. Turn's done. Back to white. Very nice. In the back, hit a turn signal. The one running light is now blinking orange. And again, when you cancel, it's back to solid. And then finally, the last part is the fact that now all three lights act as brake lights. So a little extra lighting there. So that's it. I could do it in less than half the time now that I have the experience doing it. But it's done. I've been wanting it for a long time for safety purposes, and I have it. So I'm happy. At the end of the day, I'm happy. There you go. That's it for this one.